Today, the Justice Department concluded its internal review of the FBI's handling of the Hillary Clinton email investigation. And while it finds no evidence of political bias in the FBI's prosecutorial decisions, it says that former Director James Comey made a serious error of judgment when he sent a letter to Congress reopening the investigation of Hillary's emails just days before the election. It also called Comey insubordinate for his decision to hold a press conference in July of 2016 without consulting the Attorney General. It was there that Comey criticized Clinton, despite announcing that no charges would be brought. We all remember this. Let's watch.
Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
Well, despite those criticisms, the report states that we found no evidence that Comey's public statement announcing the FBI's decision to close the investigation was a result of bias or an effort to influence the election. Joining me right now is Julie Ainsley, national political reporter for NBC News. Cynthia Oxney is a former federal prosecutor, and Congressman Gerald Nadler of New York is the ranking Democrat in the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, it seems to me the big takeaway from this report, and it was a voluminous report, was A, Comey was wrong to make that statement he did and the big announcement about Hillary's situation on the emails in July, and very wrong 11 days before the election when he reopened the whole thing publicly. Your thoughts?
I think there are two big takeaways. And that's certainly one of them. He should not have done either one of those things. He substituted his own judgment for department guidelines and principles which are designed to make sure that they don't affect an election. And arguably, he certainly did affect the election. And secondly,
on that point, do you think Hillary was right? I mean, that 11 days out saying that the Anthony Weiner matter had opened the whole thing up again, that closely had effect on the results?
Oh, it certainly had an effect on the results. Whether it had enough of an effect to have changed the outcome, I think it's probably true, but you can't prove that. But the second takeaway is that contrary to what the Republicans were saying for a year and a half before the election and to this day, there was no bias in the FBI. There was no bias in the Department of Justice. And they were trying to push the Department of Justice as they're trying to pressure the special prosecutor now, as they're trying to taint the jury pool, the public, against whatever he says now. And this is very important to say. There was no political bias whatsoever.
What jumped out at me, because I'm like the people who watch this show, I'm a political person. I pay attention. I read all the papers, watch everything. I know you are at the heart of it, coming from the New York media. You live in it every day. Do you think it's believable, because this is in the report, that James Comey, the head of the FBI, did not know that Huma Abedin, Hillary Clinton's top kick, was married to Anthony Weiner, the congressman in New York who got in all that trouble? Didn't know they were together. Do you think that's true?
I don't know whether it's true or not, but stranger things have happened. I don't know what he reads or doesn't read, and I don't know.
Well, let me tell you, Cynthia tells me he's not a political guy, Comey. He may be incompetent on some things.
It's the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I mean, come on, of course he knew. It's ridiculous.
Of course he knew?
Of course he knew. It's ridiculous.
Well, Julia?
I don't like to wager, but I do think that the reason we're asking this question is not just because it's fun to play these games in Washington where we all know.
It is weird because this is a New York tabloid story that never quit about Anthony Weiner. How many jokes they make about him.
That's true. Yeah. But I think the real reason why that matters is because of the delay. We found out from this report today that as of September 29th, 2016, they had enough information to subpoena those emails on Anthony Weiner's computer. So why did we not hear about that till October 28th when he told Congress?
Well, was there an agent there, a special agent there, who slowed it down to have a bigger impact on the election?
So that is what they investigated. What they found is there are a number of people who decided not to move forward. One of those was Comey. One of those was McCabe. They say political bias shouldn't be involved in their decision, but another one was Peter Strzok. And as we saw from text messages today, it looks like he did have a political bias, and they couldn't quite rule that out.
What did you make, Congressman, of this member, a special agent who said, I'm going to stop Trump from being elected? Was that just bold talk or BS?
I think it was. I think that what those tapes prove is that Strzok and his girlfriend, Lisa Page, agreed with the majority of the American people who don't like Donald Trump, and they're entitled to their political opinions.
But when he said, we're going to stop it, what do you make of that?
I think that was a rhetoric to his girlfriend.
What would you make of that legally?
Let me add one thing.
Cynthia, wouldn't you use that against some guy if he said, I'm going to stop it and I'm a special agent?
It's totally inappropriate for a special agent of the FBI who's supposed to be above reproach to be writing that. It makes no sense. And we tell our children, whatever you put in your email, It's not private. Nothing is private. And if you are working on an investigation that this serious, you should not be saying that.
But the IG specifically found that there was no evidence that any decision or action taken by any of the agents, Strzok, Page, anybody else, was affected by political bias.
You think that'll stop Trump from tooting this?
No, it won't stop Trump. But well, Trump lies about everything. So
but here's the problem. What this is done, it's the Strzok and it's Comey breaking all the rules. And it was a terrible thing that he did for the Department of Justice. And that's the way I look at it, as a prosecutor and as somebody who wants the justice system to appear fair. And it does taint the whole justice system. The Strzok has tainted it.
Here's my big question. You guys are maybe Joy. Why didn't he, when he found out that Anthony Weiner had some stuff on it that was got on his, they were sharing, husband and wife were sharing the same laptop at home, and some of the stuff he was picking up from Hillary on his laptop. Why didn't he just look at it, examine it, and then decide to make a statement on it? They checked out this laptop in a couple of hours. Why did they have to make a big announcement? We're looking at the laptop.
So he would have had the luxury of that if he had acted sooner. If he'd acted in September when he was notified about that, he would have had the luxury. As we remember, there were thousands of emails people were going through, and a lot of the emails on Anthony Weiner's computer were copies of things they already had, but they didn't know that at the time. So they didn't know how long.
Why didn't they look
take.
at them before they talked?
Well, so at October 28th, they didn't know quite how many they were going to have to go through. And
but they still got through it. They still got through it.
But he didn't have the luxury of time.
Well, I think that's where Hillary has a right to be angry. Anyway, responding to the revelation that James Comey also used a personal email account to conduct official FBI business, Hillary Clinton wrote in a tweet, "But my emails." Congressman, you're the political guy here. Do you think Hillary's right to say this was biased against her because she said, even though the report said it wasn't biased, do you think that the FBI acted in a definitely unpleasant way to Hillary here?
I think the FBI conducted an honest investigation. I think that Comey, for reasons of his own personal public relations and for reasons of what he considered public relations of the FBI, violated the guidelines and improperly substituted his judgment for the rules and thereby biased the election against Hillary.
We've got a report, I read it in Politico today, Congressman, that Mr. Mueller's not doing too well in the polls. This constant trashing of him by this president and his people out there on Fox and everywhere else is having an impact.
Especially given the fact that he's behaving properly and not answering it and not leaking. The only thing we know about this investigation has been leak-proof. The only thing we know about the investigation is from court filings, who's been indicted and what the indictments say, who's pleaded guilty, and any legal filings they make. Period. So you've got one side, the president and all his allies, trashing Mueller, trashing the investigation, trashing the FBI, trying to taint the jury pool, as Giuliani quite directly said. And on the other side, a proper professional investigation, saying nothing and answering nothing.
Yeah, the good guys are not winning this public debate.
Well, the one thing we know because of this report is that Mueller will be very cautious about when he does his release. And it will, if he can't get it done by August 1, there won't be a peep until after the election.
I thought about that today. I mean, the
2018 election.
learned.
Oh, yeah.
You got that, Congressman? Are you going to have a shutdown of any kind of...
I don't know if August 1st is a magic date, but yes.
Okay. Julia?
But right, I mean, the lessons learned from this. It is very probable that we could be in a similar situation. We have a president who will have his party going through midterms. He will be facing another election in 2020. And there are countless investigations into him and his businesses and to his lawyer we saw today. And so it could be possible that you could be in this position again where federal investigators
How about state investigators?
Or the state investigators
In New York
have
City,
to
the
know.
US
I don't think they're bound by...
I don't think they're worried about the congressional schedule.
It's-
Anyway,
yes,
U.S.
federal
Congressman
law
Jerry Nadler, the ranking Democrat in the House District, he may be the most important guy in the country next year. Thank you, Julie Ainsley and Cynthia Oxney.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.